Hi! By now you know the cells are the basic unit of life and that we'll be spending a lot of time this unit talking about them. They got their name from a man named Robert Hooke who was looking at some cork underneath the microscope and noticed little tiny compartments that reminded him an awful lot of the rooms that monks sleep in. It took us quite a while after that to realize that cells are fundamental to living things, but they are. Leeuwenhoek was a guy who came along after that and improved microscopes an awful lot by stacking one lens on top of the other with a tube connecting them. That allowed him to see all kinds of amazing things, including protozoa, which are single-celled organisms that move around and act like animals. Later, other scientists came along, made a lot of observations of cells and all kinds of living things, and came up with cell theory. Cell theory states that all living things are made of cells, that all the basic functions of life take place within cells, and that cells only come from other cells. This seems like really basic stuff to us now, but back then it was a really big deal to realize that life exists on such a microscopic level and that it only comes from other life. It also brought up all kinds of other questions, like if there's so many different kinds of living things, how come life can only come from other kinds of life? Also, how do parents pass their traits onto their offspring? We'll be spending the whole rest of the school year answering these questions. So cells, they come in a lot of different varieties, but they almost all have one thing in common. They're very, very small. So small, you need a microscope to see them. Why so little? Well, it turns out that to be able to function, the cell has to be able to get nutrients in and waste products out. And it does that through the membrane. In order to do this, it needs to have a lot of membrane in comparison to the cytoplasm inside the cell. Small cells have a larger proportion of surface area compared to the volume of stuff inside them. With a large amount of surface area, the membrane can get stuff in and out easier without the cytoplasm getting bogged down with waste product or depleted of nutrients. All cells have a few things in common. For instance, a membrane to separate the inside from the outside. They're all filled with a jelly-like substance that we call cytoplasm, and they all have ribosomes. You can see ribosomes here as some black dots. Ribosomes are a very simple organelle that is used to make protein. All of the different kinds of cells that there are can be divided into two groups, the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. Pro means before and karyote means nucleus. So prokaryotes are the really simple cells like bacteria that don't have a nucleus. And eukaryotes have a nucleus and also membrane-bound organelles. We're going to be spending the next few videos talking about those membrane-bound organelles and the more complex structures in eukaryotic cells. Until then, stay awesome. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.